Hey everybody, welcome back to Edgington, the city on the edge. I'm just here by the Wayland statue. Yep. Oh, and somebody's... You having a sit to eat some food? Yeah. You enjoy that food, Penguin, because I believe it's the end of your shift. And it is dawn of day 47. We are continuing work on the Northern Road. It's actually getting pretty far along by the looks of things. We killed a bunch of skeletons last night, we killed a bunch of spiders. I don't think we have anything else on the docket. I'm pretty sure we are once again monster-free. But who knows, we may have something else turn up fairly soonish. That wouldn't be too surprising in the least. Hey, we have had a few different... Oh, there's everybody coming out to work on various parts. Good. Just the dissemination, the seeds blowing into the wind. How lovely is that to see? But let me see. What is going on? What can we talk about? Well, something happened to me recently, which hasn't happened in a fair while, that I think probably bears highlighting, because it's sort of like it's something that isn't discussed terribly too much, especially in my content. And just generally content regarding folks of my ilk. You'll find out what I mean by that in a few seconds. And who is this? But really does require a bit more representation. Hello, Margaret. Who are you? Level 4 blacksmith. It would appear we have a new guest. So... Okay, level 4 blacksmith brings along a bronze hammer and some bronze chains. Sure, that's handy. Oh, and some copper ingots, good. Charismatic and clumsy. Ooh, okay. Decent wood chopper, decent archer. Very decent blacksmith. I'm going to accept you, but I am... Firstly, going to change your name, so you are now Ivy Elmsbrook. So, welcome, Ivy. And I'm going to put you to be a forager, because Saw needs the help. Hunt sheep, hunt boar, don't hunt chicken, gather berries, wait in hall while idle. And let's put you on the standard scheduled sleep of everybody else. I think it's evening that everyone goes to. Okay. There you go. Oh, a wolf. What do you know? I was just saying there's no enemies. And how many have we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Any more turning up elsewhere, or is it just the 7 over here? Hey. Just the 7 over here. Okay. Right. Paper, how are you looking? You are in good health, and you have good materials on you, good to see, and you're level 11. I am confident that you can handle this wolf, but I suppose we'll find out very soon if that's the case. Good, down in 1. And then there was like 8. Oh, and there's the next one for you. So, the thing that happened to me recently is, for the first time in quite a considerable while, in fact, I experienced what is commonly referred to... Oh, stone deck gets broken, great. What is commonly referred to as a meltdown. Now, for those of you who somehow missed this piece of information about me, I have what is, at least previously was referred to as Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism, and I don't think it's necessarily in the... I don't think it's actually in the guidelines these days, but that's... I haven't looked at them myself in quite some time, so who knows. Wolf has killed a boar, that's fine. Oh, Smeg, I just realized. So, get away from the large horde of wolves, please. Eeh. That's gonna cause problems, I'm sure. We have to send one of our infantry over there to mess them up. But are you hungry? No, you're not hungry at all, Paper. Okay. switch you over to no preferred task. And let's have you go take on some wolves. I'm pretty sure you can handle it. Right. So yeah, I'm autistic. I was diagnosed formally in my late teens, just before I finished secondary school, actually. I really wish I had been diagnosed way earlier than that, but yeah. And that means a bunch for my, like, behavioral capacities, my emotions, and all sorts of other stuff, but my learning was affected by this as well, not that we knew it at the time, all sorts of stuff, but I am also what is, or at least what certain groups would describe as being high-functioning, which is not a great way to look at it, because it implicitly compares me to what a normal person thinks like and acts like and behaves. So, yeah, kind of ableist, to say the least, but what that means, or at least what that attempts to codify, game saving, is just the fact that I function pretty neuroatypically on a day-to-day basis. Oh boy, there's a lot for you, Paper. Oh yeah, they've spotted you. They have definitely spotted you. Oh, here's the combat music, okay. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. All done. There's like one left over here. Let's take him out. Blimey. So many wolf dead. Oh, Paper, you'd better get to this guy before Saw does. Saw, tell me you're not wearing anything. Oh, joy. Please. Oh, good, he is aimed at Paper. Good, there we go. Level 12 infantry for you as well. Hooray. Okay, back to patrol. So, yeah, so I function pretty regularly, I guess you could say. I pay taxes, I, like, do work, I feed myself, I dress myself. There are people who, suffice to say, there are people who have much more severe and debilitating forms of autism and even Asperger's syndrome than I do. That's fair to say, but it isn't invisible in my life, suffice to say. I do actually have to deal with stuff. And one of the things that I kind of have to be careful about is meltdowns. Now, a meltdown is sort of... Oh boy, this is a rough one to describe, because this is no two cases of autism are identical. They just have recurring features, and those features don't necessarily come from the same things. It's why autism took so long to really codify. But I'm enjoying that word today, aren't I? Codify. A meltdown, for me, at least, is sort of akin to my brain getting stuck in an infinite loop. And how that usually happens is there is a problem. I know I need to solve the problem, especially to do something else, but I can't. This could be simply that I don't know the answer, or that nothing I'm trying is working, or that there isn't an answer, that kind of thing. But either way, I can't resolve this issue, and my brain goes in a loop saying, I have to fix this. How do I fix this? I can't do this. I have to fix this. Loop, loop, loop. And it just does that in faster and faster loops. So I get emotional, and I become unresponsive. I start pacing everywhere. My all vision of, like, a neurotypical person goes out the window, more or less. Because it's just... frustration skyrockets, as well as a whole bunch of other stuff. Level 12 mind and more render, yay. And I am fortunate. I am you may say indeed that I am privileged in that I don't experience meltdowns very often. I think there's maybe half a dozen examples of me having a meltdown that I can remotely remember. They may well have been even more in my childhood that I just can't recall, but yeah. The most recent one, before this past week, was April of 2014. And the only reason I know that is because there's a video about it. I figured it would be important to capture this event on camera because it's not something you see from me. It's not part of my diagnosis that is very often at the foreground, and it is something that needs to be represented. It's something that needs to be publicized, known about. It's something that needs to be shown so that the public recognizes it. Because heck knows that autism has a really bad rap that it definitely doesn't deserve, but that's a whole other story in and of itself. So what triggered it most recently? Well, we have a key. Like, we Middlesbrough doesn't exactly have the best in terms of sanitation, but we basically have a key provided to us by the council at cost to access an alleyway where we dump our rubbish, basically. So just everything there's no, like, recycling to speak of around here. It's just, you put it in a black bag, you shove it in a big bin, and it goes away. How are we for stone pickaxes? Before I get distracted further. We're all good. Great. Do we have any stone bricks? Still going up. Next question. No, we don't. Okay, this is brick free, right? Yes, good. Okay, let's put 200 on the list. Why not? And I was like, it's my turn to take out the bins, so I gather all the rubbish, and I get my shoes on, get my jacket on. I don't particularly like going outside here in Middlesbrough, but I do. That's a funky breed of wolf right there. The duo wolf or something. And then I go to find this key. Without this key, pretty much the only way we can get into the back lane, like to the back alley to shove our rubbish, is through our windows, so that ain't happening. And we have a specific spot on Billy the Bookcase, where that key is always placed, so we know where it is and I can always find it. And it wasn't there. So I look around, and I check the vicinity of that space, and I can't find it. I check all the coat pockets, I can't find it. I check the coffee table, I can't find it. I check the kitchen, I can't find... Basically, I check every single place I could think of that it could be, including this office. This office has been pretty much turned upside down trying to find this key. And I can't find it, and I'm getting wound in a circle here. I can't find it, but I need to find it, but I can't find it, but I need to find it, and at more than a few moments in the course of this whole experience, I contemplated ramming my head into a wall. Thankfully, didn't do that, because that would not have helped the situation, to say the least. Okay, so, Ivy, how are you doing here? You're a lot slower than Sawtooth, but that's fine because you are only a level 1 forager, so consequently, it's going to take you a little bit longer. And eventually my thought process sort of caught up a little bit so that I realized, okay, I know what's happening here. I've been through this before. I need to go into the bedroom, I need to get Totoro, the giant Totoro plushie, and pretty much I need to essentially scream into his chest because I need to breathe and I need to stop. And thankfully Totoro is quite useful for that purpose. Anyone ever tells you that plushies aren't useful into adulthood, I am living proof that they absolutely are. So after that, I explained to Fuzz what just happened. I was incredibly exhausted and emotionally drained. I don't think we even made dinner that night. We just ordered in, which I've been trying to do less because my diet sucks and I eat way too much junk food as is. Oh, and we are down to 30 lumber, so let's just cut that down. There we go. Shouldn't chop down the other parts there, that should be okay. Right. So yes, as it stands, we still haven't taken the pins out because we still can't, and I'm... Social anxiety does not, it's very comorbid, I think is the word. It turns up in a lot of the same cases as autism. So I don't like going outside into Middlesbrough. I wouldn't like going outside here if I didn't have social anxiety of some description, but yeah. And then going down to the council, which is a terrible place to stand, but yeah. And then paying, presumably, for another key. Presumably after signing more paperwork, but who knows. Maybe they'll be lucky enough and then that should be able to reference in a database. And we can get a new key and then we can get rid of the rubbish again. But in the meantime, we're still looking for this missing key. We don't know where it's gone. It's not an easy key to miss, too. It's like this big. And it looks like no other key that I've ever seen in my life. But, problems never singly come. But yes, Meltdowns. I swear that wasn't me getting off topic, but... Basically... There is more to my life than might initially come across in these videos. There is a lot more that I have to deal with than it might appear in terms of my autism. I get distracted on topics, for example. I dive straight into something huge a lot, and I get fixated into these patterns of behavior very easily. That is perhaps the most obvious one. It was, like, to the extent back in my school days that, indeed, I had to be on time for a class. I had to be either on time or early. And oh, good, we have got this one. If I was late for my class, I could not enter. I couldn't go into the classroom because my brain heavily associated going off pattern with bad, with negative, with this is going to hurt and this will be terrible and painful and suffice to say, general badness. That was probably not helped by the severe bullying I received in the course of schooling because presumably the same symptoms, but yeah, that's again a whole other topic. So yeah, I develop habits very easily in that kind of fashion. I wouldn't necessarily say I have an addictive personality, but I develop habits very easily. And if I have to break a habit, it's not easy for me. And if I do, my brain is as mortal as every other person's, so it can slip up on its own habits and do something else. If that ever happens, God help me if someone points it out. Because my brain... I'm going to use the word meltdown here, but that's not the same event. But my brain goes into a panic state. Where it's just trying to figure out, oh god, I have to fix this, I did it wrong, oh god, oh god, oh god, that kind of thing. And... how do I put this? I get along quite well in modern day-to-day life as a functioning adult, so to speak. But there's a reason I'm a YouTuber. There's a reason, beyond just the educational, that I play video games on the internet to an adoring community that I utterly, like, I can't thank you guys enough, but one of those reasons is that I do not fit into the modern workplace as we understand it. I can't do that. I can't... like, even with my degree, the first place you end up pretty much is either a grueling quality assurance tester or working in some fashion with the public, and I can't do that. I can't deal with people like that. You would think that I could, considering what I actually do, but no. Suffice to say, not the case. So, my autism does actually affect the kind of work I can do. It affects my career. The fact that I have chosen this as my career is in no small part due to the fact that I have no other options. Which is not to say that if I didn't have autism I wouldn't want to do this, but I don't know. That then broaches onto another sensitive subject, which is the prospect of a cure for autism. Now, I won't make some kind of sweeping statement and say that nobody would want a cure or everybody would want a cure. It's much more case by case. But there are some groups that want it to be a sweeping statement. There are some groups that like to paint autism as being an all-consuming, all-destroying ailment that will cause you to be a burden upon your family and society as a whole. These are such groups as Autism Speaks, where not a single autistic member is allowed to be on their actual, board. Oh boy, don't like them. But I'm quite certain that there are some people whose lives would be, they would be happier if they didn't have autism. These are people with severe cases who are lacking independence, who have trouble getting through a morning, let alone a day. But these people aren't me. Does my autism mess me up? Occasionally, yeah. Usually it's just these little sort of pseudo-microaggressions I have to deal with from it, but occasionally it messes me the heck up, and I have to deal with that. And it's not pleasant. In other ways, it's almost an advantage to me, though. Programming, I probably wouldn't be nearly as good a programmer if I wasn't autistic. I will say that right now. It has been advantageous for me to be autistic. And I also, don't know how much of my personality, how much is me, is tied in with my condition. So, if there was a cure, if I was offered it, I personally would say no. I'm proud to be an autistic, and I'm proud to have this forum where I can talk about that freely, where I can tell you about these qualities, about these problems, these issues. And it's midday. I have managed to talk for 20 odd minutes on basically the same thing. Wow. It's not unusual, I just didn't think I'd stay to topic that long. Because I tend to ramble, as we all know. That is me talking about autism, though, about Asperger's syndrome, about my issues with meltdowns and other habits and whatnot. If you'd like to talk more about that, then hey, I can. Just let me know in the comments. But for now, this has been Edgington. I've been lying in Bedmon, and I hope you've all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time.